my name's Mel Williams. I'm from the local Wreck Bay Aboriginal community, and I am the Blak Cede cafe manager here in Nowra.
And as you just mentioned, you're the manager of an incredible cafe in Nowra on the New South Wales South Coast. Can you tell us about the business, how it started and how long it's been operating for?
Yeah, so Blak Cede is owned and managed by Waminda, which is an Aboriginal women's health and wellbeing service here on the South Coast that, is leading by example in terms of health, which they look after Indigenous women and families around their, social, emotional, mental health and wellbeing. Blak Cede is an Aboriginal women-led social and cultural enterprise which cultivates traditional foods from our gardens. We have a garden that helps us to produce high-quality products for our cafe and also our online store. This was originally set up by Waminda, and the initial idea came from a group with the Dead or Deadly program, and that was about educating our Aboriginal elders with type 2 diabetes. So educating our elders in regards to, how to be able to, with chronic illness in our community, being able to put something on the plate that's nice and nutritious, healthy, that brings back our traditional plants and things like that, and not being able to spike their sugar levels. So it was a program that was set up, an exercise program, and then started talking about nutrition and things like that. So, it's sort of where it developed from. And then we started making, products. Then we came along and we have a garden at Karilla here now where we grow all our beautiful plants and things like that. So it's sort of like a farm to plate, set up. Really?
Yeah, that's really awesome. And it's good to know as well, like when you're going to eat at the cafe, that the produce is, grown and sourced and you know where it's coming from as well, which is really amazing. And, the work that you guys are doing in that space is really great. And another big part of what you do is provide training and employment opportunities for Aboriginal women. Can you tell us more about what that looks like and the kind of pathways that are created through the cafe?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this cafe, I'm able to lead this space, which is an amazing opportunity, and what we're set up to do is empower Koori women from the Shoalhaven area in the South Coast of New South Wales to lead self-determined lives. We do that by providing culturally safe employment and lots of educational opportunities. It's by privileging Aboriginal ways of knowing, being and doing. Blak Cede showcases Aboriginal ownership and rights to traditional bush foods and medicines. At the moment, we have lots of different opportunities. We've got young women that have just got their hospitality, just signed up to actually become chefs. So we've got 2 young Koori women that are training to be chefs. We've got one young girl just finished a Cert 2 in hospitality. We also have 2 SBATs from one of the local high schools here at Nowra. One of those is learning to become like front of house lead, and then the other young girl in year 10, she's learning to be a chef as well. So it's being a successful social enterprise is about being able to create those amazing job opportunities for our younger ones, and so it's like a classroom as well as a very successful business that's running as well. So, it's teaching these young people on the job, training at the same time, so it's been amazing. Also, for our women, out of the justice system and things like that. So, one of the things in Nowra here, coming from a very racist town, one of the hardest things here is for people to fill positions. We're actually on the flip side of that. We can't create enough positions for our mob, because it's created that beautiful, safe cultural space, not only for our community, but the wider community. Everybody wants to be a part of that,
And since opening, how has Blak Cede expanded and grown, both in terms of business, and I know you just mentioned there the impact that you guys are having on community as well. How has that all expanded and grown?
Yeah, look, I was very fortunate enough to start. So we're just about to go into our 1 year anniversary this month, which is amazing. Within that 1 year, we've expanded in terms of giving opportunity for the cafe with micro businesses. So we allow Aboriginal artists from the community to be able to sell their products and give them some sense of ownership in terms of the space and getting their names out there as well. We've got got a warehouse out at South Nowra, which has now just started our online store. And then we've just expanded on our products and our merchandise, so that's expanded there. I think within 4 weeks of being able to manage this space, we realised that we actually didn't have enough space. So in the last month, we actually expanded into a shop that was for sale next door. So. One of the hardest things, obviously, being a social enterprise and a non-government organisation is just rallying behind being able to get funding so then we can, the what next can be put into place. But we actually extended into next door. So we've just opened up next door and we've got an extra 18 seats.
Wow, that's so cool.
Being able to expand there as well and, being able to create more opportunity in employment, because obviously our catering arm has picked up as well. So, all these amazing, exciting opportunities that keep popping up and being able to, stay true to who we are also is really important. So not going, too big, too quick. And I think, Waminda are very smart in terms of that, just having the timing right. And, I've never been a manager before, so which has been, amazing. I'm led by, my boss, Faye Warner, she guides me step by step and working in Waminda, it's about walking alongside our women and they do that so very well.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, coming up to a year and the amazing things that you guys have done already. And you've also won a number of awards as well, including Regional NAIDOC Award and even Best Cafe in the Shoalhaven. And you're also nominated for another award, Outstanding Cafe in the Illawarra and Shoalhaven Local Business Awards, which is coming up. How does it feel like to be recognised in that way for the great work that you guys are doing in the community? What's that feel like?
Oh, look, it's amazing, Blak Cede demonstrates decolonising mindsets in communities. It's about, English was never our first language, so we are always being able to be true to who we are in our own space. So, talking our jargon, you'll see the menu and it's got, it's our language, people come in and have a cooey up and, it's like a family reunion when people come here, but then to be recognised for that is just, it's mind blowing, the future for Blak Cede is beyond what I can see, but, and I think the recognition, speaks for itself. I think, I speak about, why is Blak Cede so, so successful and, I pride myself in leading that. With these awards and the acknowledgement, the customer service is amazing. The food is just, everything speaks for itself. So it's getting the recognition that it deserves. And I think it's fabulous.
Yeah, definitely well-deserved for sure. And I also wanted to talk about the menu. You use a lot of ingredients, locally sourced produce, which you mentioned, native ingredients. What are some of the most popular dishes on the menu?
Yeah. So one of the favourites here would be the wattle seed banana bread. That comes with, it's not your usual. It's a whole experience. We incorporate our wattle seed, our native honey. So I've just done our first harvest at our garden at Kurilla. And harvested some of our native honey and, the purposes, the medicinal purposes of native honey, is not just to put on the menu, it's medicine really. So being able to utilise what we grow and put it on the plate. Our murra cakes, so our fish cake that is one of the most popular as well. I think what a lot of people come here for also is the experience. You can't just go to a normal cafe and have an egg and bacon roll. like what you'd have here. So, you know, everything's very smart and well thought through. So, you know, working with local producers and, you know, working with a butcher that we're able to produce and give them our native spices and get our food actually infused with what we want, you know. So, yeah, look, the menu is it's very popular, and then also putting our products out there. So we're known for like our Deadly Medley, which is our house-made granola. So, you know, being able to put our products out, so then it gives that ripple effect for our marketing as well. So what people see on the plate and what they taste, being able to purchase that in the cafe as well. So, like, a lot of people are coming to us now looking for, you know, your lemon myrtle, your aniseed myrtle, your wattle seed, and you can't go to Woolworths or Coles to buy those sorts of things, you know. So being able to sell that in the cafe as well has been, you know, it's been extremely popular.
And every time I visit, I mentioned to you before the start of the interview that I've been a couple of times, and there's always a lineup out the front. The food and the coffee is just amazing. There's also such a really warm and calming feeling at the space, like you mentioned, like that kind of sense of community and belonging. Can you tell us what went into designing the cafe and it also incorporating First Nations art and like the storytelling in the space?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I think I spoke a little earlier about, you know, those demonstrating decolonising mindsets of community. You know, we actively participate in anti-racism work, and we are reclaiming our Aboriginal English by being proud of our identity and our speech as well. So, you know, what happens is, you know, being owned by Waminda's such a big organisation leading the way in community, and you know, unfortunately, for, you know, most people, they don't see what happens at Waminda and all the hard and groundbreaking work that our Waminda workers do. So, you know, for a lot of people that'll walk into this space, it may only be their only interaction that they have with an Indigenous person. So really want to make sure that we're leading the way and representing not only ourselves, but our identity, our culture, and also Waminda as well. You know, it has created that space for, you know, that case management, sort of, you know, unofficial case management as well. So being able to, you know, refer a community that, you know, not having a great day or, you know, just need a cuppa and a yarn, is being able to create that space for them also, to be able to come and feel safe in that space. And, you know, me having that case management background and knowledge about Waminda, being able to refer them to different pathways and things like that. I think for non-Indigenous people, you know, they walk in and the place takes you on a journey. You know, you're met by, you know, an Aboriginal person standing there greeting you. You hear our music coming before you enter in the cafe. A lot of mob, you know, that don't know where the cafe, they can hear us before they see us, you know. Yeah. I always say that I'm the loudest manager on the South Coast. I actually pride myself in that, sis, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, looking around and, you know, there was a lot of work and I want to acknowledge, you know, the maintenance team and Waminda for all the hard work that they did to make this space what it is, you know. Everything tells a story. You know, the furniture has been upcycled from the bushfires, you know, to the kangaroo leather, to the beautiful weave lampshades, and then being surrounded by local artists' art, which is for sale. You know, people just want to sit and people just want to embrace, you know, what we've provided for them. So, you know, we're sitting at 5 stars, which I absolutely pride myself in that. You know, and that's unheard of. For someone to have 280 reviews and every single review being 5 stars is definitely unheard of. And you know, I take a lot of pride in the experience that people get when they come here.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful space, and like I said, I've been there a number of times, and the coffee is always amazing, and I love the sense of, like, it just feels like family when you walk in and everyone's laughing and having a good time, being able to yarn to each other, and even seeing you there as a manager, it was very much like family vibe and feel, and I think you really get that sense of family and community when you enter. And I guess the last question I wanted to ask you is, what's next for Blak Cede Cafe, and are there any future plans that you can share with us?
You know, we get asked day in and day out about franchising Blak Cede, but it's definitely not on the cards. You know, I think we need to really stay true to who we are and you know, just having the right people to do Blak Cede justice, you know. So, you know, for, you know, the next sort of steps on would be, you know, obviously expanding our products for our online store and things like that. It would also be creating, you know, more employment opportunities and pathways for our community. You know, and the next step I think would be, you know, to have a Blak Cede food and coffee van. So I'd love to take Blak Cede on tour, you know, especially for NAIDOC events and things like that would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, look, watch your space. I think it's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And congratulations on, you know, managing this amazing cafe. And if anyone's in the area or passes through Nowra, make sure you go and check out Blak Cede Cafe. The food's amazing, the coffee's always amazing, and yeah, it's just a really, really great business. So thank you so much for coming on and having a yarn with me on NITV Radio. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time. Yeah, pop in and say hello, have a cooey up and have a yarn. Thank you very much for your time.